All right, let's talk about consciousness. We all know we are conscious, but what does that really mean? Is it a thing inside us, like a soul, or a little person watching everything from inside our heads? Or is it something else? According to Jean-Paul Sartre, a famous philosopher, consciousness is not a thing at all. It's not an object like a rock, a chair, or even a part of our brain that we could point to. Instead, consciousness is a process, an activity. It is something we do, not something we have. Think about it this way. Your consciousness is always aware of something. It never exists just by itself. It is always conscious of something, whether it's a sound, a thought, an object in front of you, or even a feeling inside you. For example, if you're thinking about a tree, your consciousness is directed toward the tree. It doesn't just exist in your mind as a separate thing floating around. It always has a focus. You never just experience consciousness as a blank screen. You experience it as awareness of something specific. Now, here's something really interesting. Consciousness is empty. That sounds strange, right? But what it means is that consciousness doesn't have a fixed essence. It's not a thing with a permanent nature. Unlike a rock, which just exists as a rock and will always be a rock no matter what, consciousness is always changing, always defined by what it is focused on. This means that we, as conscious beings, are not born with a fixed personality or meaning. We create ourselves. Sartre says that we have radical freedom, meaning we are free to make choices and define who we are. We are not trapped by fate, not programmed like robots, not just following instincts. We are shaping ourselves all the time through our actions and decisions. This is both exciting and terrifying. It's exciting because it means we can change, grow, and become whoever we want to be. But it's also scary because it means we are completely responsible for our choices. We can't blame fate or destiny for how our lives turn out. It's all on us, and that can cause what Sartre calls existential angst, that feeling of deep responsibility and even anxiety when we realize we are truly free. Now, Sartre talks about two different kinds of being. First, there's being in itself. This refers to things that just exist without self-awareness. A rock, a chair, even our own body falls into this category. These things don't question their existence. They simply are. But then there's being for itself, which is what we are. This is consciousness, something that is always questioning, thinking, defining itself. We are never just one fixed thing. We are always in the process of becoming something new. Let's take an example. Imagine someone working in a coffee shop who takes their job way too seriously, acting as if they are nothing but a waiter and that's their entire identity. Sartre would say this person is acting in bad faith. They're pretending that they're just a fixed thing like a chair or a rock, instead of recognizing that they're free to change, free to choose another path. They are lying to themselves to avoid the burden of freedom. But here's a big question. If consciousness is a process, then who or what is watching this process? Some people might think there's a separate watcher inside our heads, observing our thoughts like a little person in a control room. But Sartre says, no, that's not how it works. Consciousness is self-aware, but there is no separate I watching it. It's not like a security camera recording everything. It's more like a movie projector. When a projector shines light, it creates images on a screen, but there is no separate light shining on the projector itself. Similarly, our consciousness lights up the world, making experiences happen, but it doesn't need an extra observer inside us to watch it happening. It just happens in the act of being aware. Sartre also talks about two levels of consciousness. The first is pre-reflective consciousness. This is our direct experience of the world before we stop to analyze it. For example, when you're running, you don't think, I am running. You just do it. Your body moves, your legs push off the ground, and you experience the motion without needing to stop and think about it. Then there's reflective consciousness. This is when we stop and think about what we are experiencing. Like after you finish running, you might think, wow, I was really fast today. But even when we reflect on our thoughts, there is no separate watcher inside our minds, just one layer of thought reflecting on another. Sartre rejects the idea that there is a permanent inner self that exists separately from our consciousness. Unlike some philosophers like Descartes, who said, "I think, therefore I am," and believed in a fixed self, Sartre says the I is not a fixed thing. It is something we construct over time through our choices and actions. Who we are is never set in stone. We are constantly creating and recreating ourselves. So, to bring this all together, according to Sartre, consciousness is not a thing, but an act. It is always directed towards something, always aware of something, always shaping itself through experience. There is no little watcher inside us. It's just awareness happening in real time. We are not fixed beings with a predetermined essence. We are free to define who we are. But with that freedom comes great responsibility. We can't escape the fact that our choices make us who we are. Reality doesn't hide some deeper truth behind appearances. What we see, what we experience, that's all there is. Consciousness and the world are deeply connected, always in motion, always changing. And that's what makes life so full of possibility. We are not trapped by fixed fate. We are free to become whatever we choose to be.